Alright, so a subscriber, welcome back everyone. I got my nephew's company on. He started and created with the help of my brother, who's a genius. Barbecue, gluten-free, blah, 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 all the good stuff. Guaranteed to make you fart and smile. So a subscriber, I hope you subscribed. You definitely commented. So if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, please do so. Help me grow. And if I can help you grow with information or a like and a subscribe, drop it in the comment box. You can see that I actually do read some of these. I don't read all of them. I probably skim through a lot of them. I try and give everyone the thumbs up and the hearts, giving you acknowledgement that I know you're there. Forgot my train of thought here. So, a comment was made about a video, and he said, what's up with the battery terminal on this vehicle, and can you do a video explaining? I just pass a Tesla. Here's what happens with batteries, and it's not so common in today's newer style batteries that are a sealed battery. So most sealed batteries were deep cycle batteries. Now today they're AGM batteries, way more advanced, and they're sealed, and I don't notice the corrosion factor, and what that comes from is leaking battery acid and gassing batteries. So if you have an old style battery and it has the old caps on it where you can pop it off and inspect the inside of the cells, those charging systems in the old days, and they still use them in the newer charging systems, really didn't throw out the voltage and the amperage that these vehicles do today. So I'm just going to be a scenario. Back in the old days with minimal electronics, I mean, you were lucky to have turn signals and headlights, a radio, maybe heating and air conditioning on those systems. But the batteries were similar, right? They still had to have enough power to start a 4, a 6, a V8, a 12. So the cell design for them is basically the same with the cap style batteries. Either had like a waffle cap, or it had the screw-in caps, which I see every once in a blue moon. In the old days, the 6-volt and 12-volt systems really didn't throw the voltage at the battery that today's systems do. So in the old days, if you had that scenario, it was more or less not from the battery overheating and gassing, it more or less from splashing the acids out, or bad lead to plastic case seals. And then you would just simply clean that off. Most people really didn't know why that happened, but I want to tell you that is why it happened. And the engine bays had more airflow in the older design vehicles across the engines and the electronics, whatever electronics there were, because they were so big. You had more air, turbulent air moving around. So you didn't notice it so much in the older systems. Now you have the newer systems that have 2 batteries. They're consistently monitoring battery voltage on and off all by themselves, which puts a surge load on your battery. So if you have an older battery, it is likely to gas, and it's likely to boil as the serviceable batteries start to boil off the acids and fluid inside the battery, right? So just like your engine oil, as that gets lower, it's easier to overheat the battery. So therefore it gasses, and I've actually seen some boil over in fizz. I've done some videos. What you're seeing there is that acid is reacting with the lead and the moisture in the air on those pieces. So you'll see copper coated ones, you'll see lead ones, and they'll just turn into blue toothpaste kind of white crap eating away at the battery posts and cables. Very corrosive, toxic stuff. You'll also see it eat away at the hood and ECUs and computers that are all packed around that stuff today. So it's not a good thing if that is going on in today's vehicles, because it is very dangerous and destructive and corrosive. But newer batteries, usually you don't see that type of stuff go on in the newer AGMs or the deep cycle marine style ones, because they do a better job building those batteries. But yeah, so that could be maintenanced. Is it going to completely go away? Probably not if you leave the same battery in there. And once everything is compromised with corrosion, it's usually hard to get rid of it completely. But you can maintain it. So if that doesn't answer your question, I'm not really sure if you understand what I'm saying. And I hate to get technical with people because they're like, right over your head.
Yeah.
So if you see that in your car, it could indicate a serious problem. It could indicate that it's time for a new battery. It could also indicate that your alternator is overcharging, or it's charging and then it's not charging, and then it's charging and then it's not charging, which is surging that battery, right? And it's boil the fluid. Then Mark's calling you. Continue calling. I'm doing a video. It's boiling the fluid, and then it stops charging because it's malfunctioning. You continue to drive it. The electronics are wearing down on the supply voltage, right? The battery is supplying the voltage, and then the battery's getting low, weak. Magically, the alternator starts charging at peak again. And it's just constantly going at the battery. So the battery's just taking a beating constantly, your alternator, your starter. But that's where your corrosion comes from. There is not enough airflow across the battery. Some vehicles, you'll notice they'll have an plastic intake pipe that comes across the battery, and that is to reduce the temperatures and move that air around, not only for the battery, but the engine bay. So a lot of these engine bays are packed in tight. There's very little room for airflow. There's a lot of room for heat to be trapped in there, and heat is a big destroyer for vehicles and electronics and transmission fluid, things like that. So
He's calling me now.
all right, thanks for watching, everyone.